Okay, what about death? Doesn't the vaccine save lives?
Correct, it lowers the death rate. It doesn't prevent it 100%.
Okay, so why are people dying?
Because it's not 100%.
There's so much wrong in this one video. Recently, Dr. Mike went on Jubilee where he had to fight off 20 anti-vaxxers. They made atrocious points. For some reason, it even started being political. Stick with me because it's insane.
First claim is that anti-vaccine lies cost lives.
I just had a baby, 7 months old. And, you know, my baby, I was like, no, I'm not getting any vaccines. The doctors came in, they made me feel like a very bad mother for not doing that. Right? I was very pressured. And then I had a family friend who had a baby at the same time, was a few months in, gave vaccines to the baby, and the baby had seizures and has had seizures since.
Wait, can you get seizures from vaccines? Well, according to this PubMed article, it indicates that vaccine administrations are the second leading cause of febrile seizures. However, I don't see any global numbers. Is it 1 in 1,000, 1 in a million? If we saw more of these patterns, it will be well known by now. Let's see what Dr. Mike has to say.
The fact that anyone made you feel bad in the healthcare system, I feel like is a failure on us in the healthcare system, so I'm sorry that happened to you. In healthcare, it's very difficult to predict the future because there are so many unknowns and there's so many variables in healthcare. There are things that are that are outside of our control, and we try to do the best with the limited amounts that we can control. So when we see two things happen simultaneously in healthcare, sometimes we think they have caused one another. But unless we see a pattern of that happening over and over again on a large scale, it's more likely that this is just a coincidence of things happening at the same time.
I agree. Life is too complex. We like to dumb things down to make it easier to understand. Health isn't an action and cause effect. There's so much bullshit in between. Who knows how this child got their seizures? What's the family history? Did something go wrong at birth? We don't know.
For example, I have a friend of mine who's a physician who vaccinates children very regularly. And they were about to give a child a vaccine, and before giving the vaccine, the child had a seizure. They went on and had more seizures throughout their life and ended up actually dying at a very young age because of a seizure disorder. But the vaccine was never given. Had that happened 2 minutes later, what do you think would have been in the mother's mind and in the father's mind in that situation, other than I definitely think that vaccine caused that problem.
I'll pause here. I would like to ask you to pay attention to the people sitting behind Dr. Mike and Dr. Mike himself. More specifically, how they treat each other. It will become apparent over time, trust me.
I'm actually a fan of your channel. I've been watching for a while.
Thank you.
I am a pediatric hematology oncology nurse.
Wow, okay.
I think a lot of mistrust in my eyes were open during the whole COVID pandemic.
Oh no, a healthcare worker that has lost faith in medicine. This is about to be interesting.
Seeing how we were sold a bill of goods that we, the American tax dollars, paid for, while these pharmaceutical companies reaped millions and millions of profits on. And I think that caused the goalpost, oh, the vaccine, this mRNA vaccine, it's going to prevent the transmission of COVID, it's going to prevent you from getting it, and others, if you don't get this vaccine, you hate your grandmother, you're going to kill all these people.
Alright, let me stop this story. I don't trust the government as much as anyone else. Obviously, when they push these vaccines down our throats that aggressively, there would be a big pushback. The more you push, the more resistance you get.
And you got to do your duty and get it. Well, you know what? My grandmother got it, and she died. I saw her take her last breath.
I'm sorry.
And it's a very profound thing to see someone that you love take their last breath and go on to whatever happens after.
However, your case about an elderly loved one dying after taking the vaccine, well, as Dr. Mike said, not everything is 100% safe. Sorry to say it.
When it comes to our government, our mandates, pharmaceutical companies, there's absolutely reasons for distrust. I love that everyone in this room is a skeptic, and I encourage skepticism. I don't think anyone should just go into a doctor's office and say yes, 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 yes. In fact, I love when my patients question me. I empower them to ask questions. Doctors sometimes get this attitude where they're like, oh, you Googled before coming here? Google search doesn't replace my degree.
Google said I like God trans dummy mommies. Can you prescribe some of them for me?
No, that's not how we're supposed to be. What I get excited about is if you Googled and you have questions, now I know exactly the route I need to take to help you make a decision that's right for you and your family.
Okay, pause. You've been voted out by the majority. Please return
Thank
to your
you so
seat.
much.
Things aside, this whole red flag system to cast out the speaker is not good. Every single time Dr. Mike is trying to make a point, or when you're actually invested into the story, it gets stopped abruptly. Just let the man cook.
My next claim is that vaccine-acquired immunity is better than natural immunity.
As if that is even a question. It's like doing an exam with a cheat sheet the size of Lizzo. There is an evil virus in front of you. There are the weak points, and there are your weapons. Go fight. Instead of being blindfolded and trying to fist fight something you don't even know what's in front of you.
I want to say first that I'm a mother of 6 children. My oldest 2 children do have vaccines. My 3rd child, he got a vaccine that the doctor said were safe that caused him brain issues for the rest of his life, and he has arrested hydrocephalus. I want to continue to say my youngest 3 children have no vaccines at all. They're perfectly fine. They're advanced.
Holy moly. For someone that doesn't trust the government, you're getting good childcare money. 6 children. God damn.
My son has permanent brain injury. So they say vaccine immunity is better, but as a child, when I got vaccines, I ended up with spinal meningitis. I had chicken pox twice. I almost died. But my 3 children that don't have any vaccines are perfectly fine. They've been traveled over 20 states during COVID. They've never got COVID. They've never got sick.
Let's take a breather. She said many things. So, her children did travel over 20 states without getting any illnesses that these vaccines prevent. Oh, there's so much bias in that one sentence, you don't know. First things first, America isn't the entire world. Did you ever go to Cape Town? How about Siberia? You ever gotten yellow fever in Thailand? Then these illnesses you were talking about getting sick all the time when you were a child, most people today are vaccinated against them. The chances of you getting something like polio via human transmission is so low. Some illnesses are almost eradicated. It was different when you were a child. These vaccines weren't as much implemented as of now.
Healthy diet, keeping them away from toxic foods, making sure their hygiene is good. Did you know that COVID has a patent and natural illnesses can't have patents? Did you know that every illness dated back to polio has a patent? The only thing that doesn't have a patent is the common cold. Did you know that Fauci funded medical schools to try to make the vaccine make COVID more deadly? Vaccine immunity is not really a thing because they cannot guarantee it makes anybody immune.
What are you yapping about? Brother, in the 1700s they injected blood from cow milkers into their own body. You wanna know why? There was this little thing called smallpox that was taking thousands of lives every day. It was quite lethal at the time. However, there was also another strand of that same illness. The cowpox. Same pox, different host. Only it wasn't harmful towards humans. It wasn't lethal. So cow milkers got exposed many times to the cowpox, and after a while they formed an immunity against the illness. So once smallpox came around, nothing, they were already immune to it, so hey, they were smart enough to realize to use the blood from one of the cow milkers into their own bloodstream to at least be a little bit protected against the smallpox. So yes, it exists, you can become immune from vaccines.
The chances of getting illness not vaccinated versus to getting vaccines is a lot higher than somebody that doesn't eat toxic crap, practices good hygiene. They're more likely to get illness vaccinated versus not vaccinated. There's studies that show unvaccinated children are more healthier. In Japan, they don't start their vaccine schedule, I believe, until 2 years old. Autism is almost non-existent. And this is something that needs to be documented. Dated back to polio.
Oh my god, I love that the side notes are low-key roasting her. You got the most things wrong. As a small guy once said, facts don't care about your feelings.
And all we ever needed was to take care of ourselves and have good hygiene.
Something I think our healthcare system doesn't do enough is say, I don't know, and I have no idea about Dr. Fauci's patents and make them healthier by preventing illness. In fact, if you think about where pharma's profits are, if pharma had to choose between preventing an illness or to treat an illness for the rest of someone's life, financially speaking, they'd probably want to just treat someone for the rest of their life.
Exactly.
But that's not what vaccines are. Vaccines prevent that illness. They prevent it from happening.
What you mean, no? No.
And when you brought up the subject of autism, I think it's an important subject. And
4 red flags just as he's about to make his point. Goddamn, these people are ruthless. I've seen some people in the background rolling their eyes while he's actively trying to understand everyone. That's quite weird, huh?
it's a subject that's been largely debunked by the
Not at
entire
all.
world community.
Not at all. I've seen studies that say otherwise, doctor.
How about you read some studies about facts instead of making up everything? Sword! Trust me, bro.